Hello, everyone watching. Welcome to Story on the Spot. I am Cat Wrangler Jim, and we're going to go around here. Over there is R.A. McGee. Mister's favorite Hart song is Barracuda. Down there we have Kevin, #VanLife Tumlinson. And directly below us, we have Mr. Craig Hart here for Story on the Spot. And I have a quick announcement about Mr. Craig Hart, because Craig is now officially full-time, permanent, recurring, occasional, special guest.
Yes.
Yes.
So congratulations. Better guy.
Gonna make new business cards.
Sorry, Craig. I'm very, very sorry.
Congratulations on your promotion. This just means Craig is going to be here sometimes not, without any advance warning. So you're just going to have to tune in every week to find out.
Well, you can't announce it ahead of time, or they won't tune in.
I like how if you go in a little spiral here, it kind of looks like Jim is slowly morphing into Craig at the end. We have the whole the beard thing, the glasses start to form. It takes its final form at the very end.
Yeah, our show would be good for plenty of before and after pictures. Lisa Badger says hello.
Badger.
Hello,
and
Badger.
if you're watching live, comment, let us know where you're watching from. And as we go through, don't forget to comment after every round and let us know which pitch you like the best, because what we're going to do is I'm going to display some news stories and read them. And then these three gentlemen around me, and also maybe RA's Christmas tree, are going to pitch. They're going to pitch stories. Craig, you haven't been here long enough. RA's Christmas tree is a year-round tree.
I've gathered, yeah, and I was just noticing how close it is this week.
It's getting closer.
I just noticed it now, and I got really scared.
You're scared, dude.
You're in the same room with it.
It's like
watching
it really was over by the door.
It's crazy.
Okay, guys, a little bit of housekeeping. The Week 14 winner, Mr. R.A. McGee.
Yay!
Yay!
Hooray!
Jack Curl's watching from Houston, Texas. In case you don't know what TX means, thanks, Jack. We appreciate the clarification.
Jack, we're neighbors.
And
Sorry for all the sweat.
This week we have a bonus word. The bonus word is roundabout. It's an adjective for not following a direct route, or one of those circle things you drive on, which came from Webster's. I thought that was strange.
Now, okay, if we use the bonus word, do we have to use it the way you've defined it, or do we just use the term?
No, you can use it anyway. And Craig, I don't know if you've been here for any of the previous bonus rounds, but basically you just try to work.
Craig was Confluence.
Craig was here for Confluence.
I tried to change the character's name to Confluence, but that didn't fly.
Didn't work. I think I let RA get away with that last week because I was you guys sucked all the fight out of me.
We'll wear you down, Jim.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, here is our first story that I'm going to read. It's called When You're a Jet. A roving gang of baboons in a safari park in Merseyside, England, is known to vandalize cars and otherwise alarm visitors, but lately they've been seen carrying knives, screwdrivers, and a chainsaw, which workers believe they've acquired from visitors. We're not sure if they've been given weapons by some of the guests or if they're fishing them out of pickup trucks and vans, an employee said. Park officials have poo-pooed the report, saying, "We believe that many of these stories have grown in exaggeration as they've been retold."
That's what park officials always say.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
They're part of the problem. So who would like to be the first of you gentlemen to pitch us a story based on this roving gang of baboons? All right, Kevin, go ahead.
So we got So I think this is a matter of the park officials themselves are trying to take over, and they're building an army of armed baboons to do their bidding. So they've actually gone in, captured these baboons, put them in little chairs, put little electrodes in their heads, train them to love the joy of murdering humans with small objects and chainsaws. And now they're setting them loose, and anytime anyone reports it, they get total control over this whole scenario, right? So they're like, these stories are being exaggerated. Pay no attention to the baboon with the chainsaw.
Pay no attention to the baboon behind the curtain.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing you see here. Move along.
All right, R.A., Craig, which one of you would like to take a stab?
I will do it.
All right, Craig,
So
thanks
I
for your
think.
enthusiasm.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Let me do it, God, please.
Way to bring it, Craig.
I can't do it every week, guys. No, so the park officials, the baboons are the park officials. They're just in costume, and they put on these costumes to run around and do their nefarious deeds. That's right, dun dun dun. Led by a dog whose name is Dun 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 Dun. And no, but their plan is to terrorize this town, but it's basically a PR stunt, because it hits the media and people obviously come and check it out. They get in their RVs and drive from Texas to wherever this place is to check it out.
England.
England.
That's a heck of a drive, man.
Kind of tired.
Craig's drowning people in his story.
You have to overinflate the tires.
A, I'd have to have a short-term memory well enough to remember that story, or B, I'd have to be able to read. Neither of those things are accurate. But no, so they lure these people in, and once they get in, they can't leave. Because once you would come into town, they have it's an invisible dome set up that you can get into, but you can't get out of. And their plan is to create the bustling town, which they can then turn into their own captive group of basically slaves to do their bidding. And they're going to turn into a giant factory to create weapons of mass destruction and take over the world.
Just like that song by the Eagles, Hotel Merseyside. You can check in, but you can check out, but you can never leave.
Never.
All right, R.A., you bring us home on story number 1. What do you got?
I got you.
By the way, title of this whole thing, The Apes of Wrath.
Pretty good. Not bad.
All right, so what I think is happening is the safari park has recently come upon some hard times. All right, it's true. Well, you got to fill up. Is there a gas station somewhere near the Seychelles? So the safari parks run across some hard times. There was an unfortunate incident with a zebra and a child, and they're just not. Their money is not good now because of lawsuits. You know what I mean? We won't talk.
Unfortunate incident with a zebra.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate.
And a child.
The child. It just makes me shiver to think about it. All right. So
I'll hear about that story.
They've lost. I'll work that into the next one, maybe. So
in a roundabout way.
Oh my gosh, I was just about to say that.
Well played. Well played.
I totally lost the point.
So they lost a lawsuit, and so they don't have a lot of money, and so they can't afford their usual army of rangers to kind of upkeep the place. Well, there was a zoo was going out of business, and they had a whole what is it? A clan of baboons, a pack of baboons, flock, whatever, a herd of baboons,
bushel,
and bushel, a peck, whatever. So they the safari park adopted the baboons, and they taught them how to be the park managers, the maintenance workers, so to speak. There's a reason why you always see them with hammers and screwdrivers and chainsaws, right? Because the park is actually using them for their slave labor, because they don't work for very much money. You give them some mangoes and they're good to go. So I think that we're dealing with a slave labor type of situation perpetrated by the park in Merseyside, England. So
it's dubious. Lisa Badger says a troop of baboons.
Works for me.
Yeah, that could be true. All right, here we go into story number 2. This is called Inexplicable. Out for an early morning stroll, 2 residents of Hopkinton, Massachusetts, called police to report a naked couple walking their dog down the street. It was kind of wild, Police Chief Joseph Bennett said. They were buck naked. Officers asked the couple why they weren't wearing clothes, but they declined to answer or were incoherent, Bennett said, and there was a short foot pursuit. After a struggle, they were captured and charged with indecent exposure and assault and battery on a police officer, along with other crimes. Now, I do believe Kevin went first last time, so somebody else likes to take a crack at going first.
I'll go. Let me get this thing going. All right, get this thing going. This my brain train. So first off, I just want to note that Police Chief Bennett says it was kind of wild. All right, he didn't say it was actually really wild. So what kind of stuff is Joseph Bennett doing on the weekends that naked people walking their dogs is only kind of, it's a little weird. It's just a little strange. All right. So what I think happened was you're dealing with a couple who are heavy smokers. Okay. They chain smoke, you know, the tar and the nicotine's building up in their house. It's inches thick. You know, you could scrape it off, you know, with a screwdriver. And so it's just not good. And so they've tried everything that they can to quit smoking, and they're having no success, you know. And so they saw an article in the paper about a guy who can hypnotize people and can make them stop bad habits. And so our couple goes to the hypnotist, and they say, listen, you know, we want to stop smoking, you know, help us out with this, you know, put us under. Well, he puts them under, but they don't really know that he's got a lot of nefarious things that he likes to do, and that he never really hypnotizes anyone to stop them from smoking. He hypnotizes them to think that they stop smoking. It's the worst. You know, if you're not careful, you can get a lockjaw from smoking chains. But
there's a link between smoking chains and cancer.
Well done. Well played.
I agree. So the baboons can scrape the nicotine from the naked couples.
I'm sorry. All right, I'll stop putting comments up. I'm totally.
It's okay. It's all right. It's like shiny things. You know what I mean?
Sorry, man.
I'm gonna get there, dude. I'm gonna
Alright,
get to the end of the
too
story, man.
easily
You know, I'm gonna go a roundabout way, but I'm gonna get there. So, in any event, so the couple gets home and they think that they've been cured of their smoking problem, but it didn't really happen. When the dog barked, that was their hypnotic trigger to take all their clothes off and take him out for a walk. And the hypnotist spends his time embarrassing people. And that's what this couple got themselves into. So bad hypnosis. Hypnosis gone wrong.
All right. Thanks, R.A. McGee, for that story pitch. Who wants to be number 2?
I'll do it. I don't know if I can get through this one. Okay. So this couple, they're actually philanthropists. You know, they went out and made a lot of money, and so now they can do whatever they want. And so what they've done is embarked on this business of making prosthetics for people, any kind of body part you want. And they're running this business from their home. The problem was they put out a line of products that ended up being causing infections to a lot of people, but they're refusing to honor guarantees and whatnot. So the police come to their house to arrest them, and this couple makes a break for it, but they're right in the middle of trying on all their prosthetics to make sure they're appropriate. So they had to disrobe to do that. And the police rush in, they're naked. They run out to escape, to evade capture. And the police go after them and catch them. And the problem was that the body parts that were causing the infections were mismatched feet. Like they had gone through this run and all the feet that they made were too short. And so they were running away from the police, and it was a short foot pursuit.
Dun, dun, dun.
No wonder you
so-
couldn't get through that.
I'm so ashamed of myself.
No, you know, let's
When you have
accept
twins, you hit the dad jokes doubly hard. You know what
It's
I'm
okay.
saying?
It's all I've got left.
It's a superpower.
Just
Yes.
own
Just
who
get
you
through
are,
it.
Craig. Don't be scared.
It's a safe space here, man. You can be you.
All right, Kevin, you're the last one on this story. What do you got?
Okay. In a roundabout way, this is connected to the rogue baboon story, because those same park rangers who are raising an army of armed baboons have also decided to use cloning to help in their plans for world domination. Now, you've heard of Jurassic Park. They're aiming to create geriatric park. These are they're cloning old people because nobody would ever fight back against an old person who's ambling about and attacking you. So they're creating these sort of zombie-like clones of old folks, letting them go in the neighborhoods and corralling them so that they go and force people out of their homes and force people out of their cars and and it makes them easier targets. So these are mind controlled, or actually they're not even mind controlled. These are just blank minded old people going around and terrorizing the society.
Gangs of geriatrics.
Geriatric Park.
That's a good Geriatric Park is definitely a possible episode title. That's one.
Not Apes of Wrath. Apes of Wrath.
You're
Apes of
killing
Wrath
it
is
today.
pretty good. I also wrote down Bushel of Baboons. That's a good one. Okay, coming up next, we have a real bonus round. Okay. So, Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible and Jack Reacher are both trapped in a burning building. Who gets out first and how?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I need a little more.
Oh,
Can you expand on that a little bit, Kevin?
because science.
Roadside.
Okay. They're trying to burn building. Okay, so I think Jack Reacher actually gets out first because he's a brute force kind of guy. Ethan Hunt's always in his head. So Jack Reacher grabs Ethan Hunt and uses him as a battering ram to break down the door so that he can escape.
Ouch, brutal. So Jack Reacher is going to murder Ethan Hunt to save himself.
I didn't invent these characters. I'm just playing them the way they.
You're just dealing the hand you've been dealt, huh, Kevin? Just playing the hand you've been dealt. Does anybody else have a different take?
I think Jack Reacher
I
might
left
be.
out the love scene, so you can
Oh.
thank me for that.
I think Jack Reacher might be angry about the portrayal of him in the movies. So yeah, use Tom Cruise to beat a hole in the wall to get out, but then he'd throw Tom back in and go out himself. So ultimately, Reacher go out first.
All right, you got a pitch for this?
I can't disagree. I mean, Jack Force is the unstoppable force. So Jack Reacher, he's making it out. Tom Cruise is going to be thinking, well, Ethan Hunt's going to be thinking, like, I have to climb up the wall and like attach myself to a pulley and like get up to the roof so then I can like fly out. Like, he's done. He's a goner, man. Jack Reacher all the way.
Plot twist: Ethan Hunt pulls off a mask and reveals that he's Jack Reacher.
Right.
Either way, Tom Cruise is going to end up dead. That's the important part, right? No matter what happens. Hey, Tom, if you're watching, you're not watching. We don't care. All right. Here we move on to story number 3. This is called Lost and Found. Chris Marcrease of Vermont lost something very important to him while skydiving. He said, "I think my adrenaline was so high and I was just so excited, I didn't realize I'd lost it." It was one of Marcrease's 2 prosthetic legs. Now, a few minutes ago, Nostra Cregus either prophesied this or he's cheating. So one of those 2 things is true. You just talked about prosthetic limbs in your last pitch. I was like, what? Does Craig know? The double amputee was harnessed to an instructor and landed safely, but he didn't know where the leg ended up. His plea for help on Facebook was answered the next day by farmer Joe Marzulkowski, who found the prosthetic in his soybean field. Marquez said the leg suffered a few scratches but was otherwise unharmed. We kind of take for granted sometimes how many truly good people there still are in the world, he mused. I wondered if leaving that last sentence in would make your story skew positive, but I have a feeling you guys will still find some awful, uncomfortable things to talk about in here. Who would like to be the first to pitch a story from Lost and Found?
I think I'm just letting other people have their turn.
Well, if you guys want to
Craig
think for a second, I can put some comments up here. Lisa voted for the last one. For the Streakers. Lisa says LMAO. And Jack says, and the bonus is a 3-way tie. Jack liked all 3. That's not helpful, Jack. You should know better. We're trying to find the winner, Jack. This isn't, nobody gets participation trophies on Story on the Spot. Does anybody have a story they want to pitch for Lost and Found?
All right.
Oh no, please.
I was trying to let people who hadn't gone first have a chance to go first. That's all.
Hey! You don't help us. Don't help us, sir. This is not the place for pageantry and pleasantry.
So
you feel free.
All right. So I think what's going on here is that what's the guy's name? The guy jumping out of the plane. What's his name?
There was Chris. Chris
All
Marquez.
right, Chris. Chris is actually the hero in a roundabout way from the first two stories combined. So now we've got these park rangers who are trying to take over the world with their geriatric zombies and their armed baboons. And Chris is a highly trained Navy SEAL diving in to take them out. And one of the ways he does this is he has explosives in his prosthetic leg, and weapons in the other leg, so like firearms, that sort of thing. But he drops, and because his main weapon fell off in transit, he wasn't able to save the day. So, bummer.
All right. Dun. Let me put the story back up here for a second.
Oh,
Craig.
I had to put the positive ending on it, though, right?
I mean, you can if you want to.
In the end, the soybean farmer picks up the leg and finds out that it's a weapon that can defeat the armed baboon army and the geriatric zombies, and he becomes the hero of the hour, taking them all out.
Or he finds a winning lottery ticket and buys an island so he doesn't have to deal with the zombies. He just moves there.
Smart. Oh,
Okay. I'm just going to start talking.
I think people should just vote for me for that because that one won.
I think they're going to have to anyway. No, so Chris, he's not a super bright guy, okay, but he's gotten caught up in this. My apologies, Chris, if you're watching.
It's like I got no legs and I'm stupid. Thanks, guys.
Speaking of lotteries.
So anyway, this is his method of getting rid of his illicit drugs. He's trying to kick the habit, okay, but he just can't quite get there. Can't quite go cold turkey. Can't afford a good recovery program. He's just, what's a guy going to do? So he has got a good friend who has a skydiving business, and so he said, "Look, every time you get rid of a stash of drugs, I'll give you a free skydive. In fact, here's what we'll do: we go skydiving. You throw the drugs in your prosthetic legs. When you jump out, unstrap them, let them go. When you land, you're free of them, and you've had fun at the same time." So that's all it's going. He's trying to kick his habit, and so this farmer guy, he's like, "Oh, here's your leg back. Here's your drug habit back." And Chris is like, "Look, I don't want it. Thanks for nothing." But it was a good deed gone wrong.
Nice. All right.
Strap on.
All right. Lisa wants to know where the Christmas tree is. See, it's still over there.
It's advancing ever
Slowly
closer.
creeping in from the side.
See, the thing is, if we leave it on camera, it won't move.
Yeah.
It's like the watch pot.
Yeah.
Like the,
It's gotten so close you can't even see it in the frame. Objects in mirror may appear closer than they.
All right, what do you got for Lost and
Closer.
Found?
All right, so this is what I think is happening. I think that Chris of Vermont is originally from Canada, and he's only lived in Vermont for a short period of time. And what we don't know about Chris is that he's actually Canadian Secret Service agent. Okay, so he's kind of a high speed guy, and he is investigating a rash of thefts that are occurring up there, and it's starting to point toward people that he works with, right? People that he's involved with, and so he finally gets a thumb drive that has a name of all the rogue, dirty agents in the Canadian government, and the problem is he wants to team up with his counterparts in the U.S., but the Canadian people have him on a watch list. He can't cross the border. Everything's bad for him. So he skydives, right? He takes a plane, right? He skydives in, right? He drops the leg into Farmer Joe's field. Farmer Joe was actually deep cover working for the NSA. So he's on Chris's team. And Farmer Joe recovers the thumb drive. Okay. Then we fast forward to the end of the story. All right. Chris has cleared his name. Joe has all the all the names that he needs to help root out the corruption in the Canadian government. Chris sits down and takes a deep breath, and he pulls off his mask, and it's Ethan Hunt, who then pulls off the mask of his legs, and he's not even an amputee. He's got 2 legs.
All right, got there in a roundabout way.
He pulls the mask off his leg.
And he said, I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Oh, man. Ethan,
I'm still really kind of just laughing at the idea of Ethan Hunt pulling off the mask and looking like Jack Reacher.
Whoa, it's kind of the same guy. Tom Cruise pulls off a Tom Cruise mask. Looks me. Ethan Hunt. No, I'm Jack Reacher now. Oh, right. Forgot you're also that guy.
They wouldn't cast me in Inception, so I made my own.
Okay, guys, I'm going to read our very last story of the day. This is called Foxy Cat Burglar. And this one might sound familiar because this is actually a recent one. I don't usually do recent stories, but this one has been floating around a little bit. I thought it was kind of fun. After Christian Meyer of Berlin lost his running shoes to a thief, he posted a notice on a community sharing platform and learned other residents had also lost shoes that were left outside. Meyer soon discovered the culprit, telling local news sources that he caught a fox red-handed with a pair of blue flip-flops in its mouth and eventually found its stash of more than 100 multicolored shoes. Meyer's shoes, however, were not among them. This got shared around quite a bit on Facebook over the last week or so, the fox burglar. Who wants to be the first one to bring us home?
I
Craig?
haven't gone first yet, so I guess I should do that. Do my due diligence here.
Woohoo!
So, what is happening in Berlin is that there's this, of course, a spy group, and my stuff always seems to come back to spy group, populated by people who aren't super intelligent. So, series idea. But what's happened? So that they've been implanting these devices, tracking devices, in various shoes. Well, that particular spy group was infiltrated by a rival spy group who put a virus in one of these, in certain number of these tracking devices that would make them explosive devices. And so now they've got to run around and figure out which ones went where. But of course, they don't know which is which, because they've just been sending these shoes to everyone so they can have this massive database. And so now they're sending out these agents who are fox shifters, and they're just stealing all the flip-flops that could possibly match the description to try and save the population from the coming apocalypse that they inadvertently brought to pass.
All right. Let me see. Okay. Kevin, R.A.
I could go. I got something. Before I do though, I how like Jerry Springer kind of ends with his final thoughts. Well, my final thought for today is asking, like, have you hugged your realtor today? Right? Because if you haven't, you should find them. You should hug them and tell them that you love them. All right. Anyways,
okay.
My realtor is my wife, but I'm just going to
your wife.
You should. She's very hugging. She's a hugger. So, if you have a realtor that's your wife, maybe you should hug her. If it's just a random person, maybe not the best idea.
You got to ask
thinking about
first.
my realtor. He's sort of a large, sweaty guy, and I was sort of figuring out how I was going to broach that subject.
I'm just
sometimes
walking into realty offices and just hugging everybody I see.
Bring it in.
Realtor to realtor.
Just get permission first before you do that.
Okay,
that was not specified by the T-shirt, and so it was therefore
it doesn't ask. It doesn't ask. It's kind of just a general, just hug them. Okay, so this is what I think is happening here, and it's actually takes kind of a turn. It's kind of a dark story. I think that the fox is actually working for human traffickers in Berlin. Okay, because it's a common ploy that when traffickers bring people into a country, they take all their paperwork, they take all their documents, and they also take their shoes, so that way they can't run away. It's a psychological ploy to keep people rooted in place And it's actually devastatingly effective. So I think that we have some human traffickers in Berlin who've trained this fox to take shoes from the trafficked victims. And the fox escaped, and now all he knows how to do is take shoes and stack them up. And he's doing it because he used to get treats and he used to get praised. And so he's basically doing it, trying to hustle and make himself, make himself some food, get himself something to eat, get a reward for taking the shoes, if you will. And so our hero is part of the Berlin, the German Bundesschlagen, which is the counterpart to the FBI. And so he's going to take the fox and he's going to follow the fox back to the hideout, and he's going to free these trafficked victims and then flip his way up the line until he can shut down the whole organization. So that's what I think we're doing.
All right. So I think we just have one person left, right?
That's me.
Just you, Kevin.
Okay. So there is a serial killer on the loose in Berlin, and he was being tracked by a detective who ended up becoming disgraced and booted off the force when he thought for certain that he had his man and led a raid, only to discover that this wasn't the serial killer's home. It was, in fact, someone who was illegally obtaining various animals for sort of like pitting them against each other and letting people place bets on them. And so he stops this ring and ends up rescuing some of the animals, but he gets booted off the force. And just on his way out, decides, this fox has nowhere to go. Someone they want to put it down. I'm going to raise the fox. So he takes the fox with him, but he still has this serial killer to track down. And the only thing he's got as the clue is a footprint. And so he trains the fox to go around and find shoes that are similar to that footprint. And so the fox is going around and bringing him shoes, and the disgraced detective is using his last remaining resources to try to track down this serial killer. And in a roundabout way, he ends up coming across the exact evidence he needs, and he brings the serial killer to justice.
I love that, Kevin. I love that your story. It sounds like Luc Besson's The Professional if it was made by Wes Anderson. So there's a mentor fox.
Well, I'm just thinking about what if the fox brought the actual shoe, but then the fox couldn't lead the guy back to it. He's like, oh, crap. Where'd you find this? Fox like,
I was going to twist it with the fox keeps bringing him his own shoes, and then finally he realizes I'm the serial killer.
And then he pulled his mask off. And
He pulls off the mask, and
he's the fox.
And he pulled off the second mask, and it's Jack Reacher. Then another mask, and it's Tom Cruise.
Maskception.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 15. That's 3 hands. 15 of Story on the Spot. Thanks for watching. If you look down below, you'll see all our websites, but also if you'll just go to storyonthespot.live, there's all the info about the show, the podcast episodes, all the previous Facebook lives, and also all of our websites are linked there. So everyone, thanks for watching. We love you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Later.